Look at my twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Look at these twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Look at these twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Look at these twins. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. Titties out, titties out.
That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate. That's Mary Kate.
Have you seen any of this at all?
No, what are you guys talking about?
No, like, just like, have you seen this podcast?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
fuck
okay.
yeah,
Really?
Totally. Yeah,
That's amazing. I
Which
actually might
what have you watched?
your clips.
Sick.
Yeah,
They've been fun.
they're fun.
Crazy, yeah.
It's cool, but
Yeah,
today
enjoy it.
we have my dad, my uncle, we have LaCroix guy, we have Pizza Man shirt, we have
Are we rolling?
guy we have guy I worked for.
We are rolling.
We have an uninformed guest. It's Rick Darge. This is crazy, dude, because I feel like I learned how to podcast from your podcast, and I'm
yeah.
just sitting in it, and like I feel like I have like 4 lines of dialogue each episode, but
Yeah.
now I'm like, yo, you're in our world
I
right
know.
now.
Yeah,
dude.
now I'm gonna have 4 lines.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
Yeah.
We were gonna do it like 3 weeks ago, and you had COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
thought
you're
you
like,
were
I
talking
tested
about
negative, and
You
I
were
was
gonna
like,
do COVID?
no,
Oh,
he.
no, you were gonna do coke.
He had COVID.
You were gonna do coke though.
I was gonna do COVID coke.
Oh.
I was gonna get COVID by doing coke.
That's fucking
Oh.
fire.
Have you
Yeah,
ever done
but
coke?
Dude, my neighbor, fuck, I don't know if he watches these, but like I went outside, I came back from the club with like my roommates, and then I went to get my water bottle from the car, and then my neighbors came back from the club, and they're like, hey neighbor, I was like, hey, and then we just started screaming, and then all my roommates came out, they're like, come over, we have coke.
Oh, shit.
And then we went over, and then like we watched, like no, like it wasn't out there, like yeah, if you guys want some, but they kept going to the bathroom and just like doing some, and then
Coca-Cola?
we're just, yeah, Coca-Cola,
Nice.
that's through the nose, and
With
then
the glass bottle,
it was with the glass ball, and they had their pinkies up.
the sugar cane.
It was the
best.
sugar
It's
cane.
the best
Yeah,
flavor.
the Mexican coke is the best
Yeah.
coke. Yeah,
I'm lucky. I don't care too much. I prefer the can.
the can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Mexican one's a little too sweet.
It is a little sweet.
Yeah.
It's that sugar cane.
Yeah.
I don't drink it often, but like, you know, if I'm eating a slice of pizza, like my shirt,
Yeah.
I'll have, you know, a nice little coke.
100%.
Hell yeah.
And then
Yeah, indulge.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that shirt?
I forget. I really don't remember.
It
Someone
looks-
gave it to me.
Oh, that's sick. It looks
Yeah.
like one of those like those Instagram ad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I was like, I needed a shirt. I have a couple. I was gonna wear a shirt that says I drink my own cum, but I thought that might be a little. Can I say cum?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
This is it's called literally
Yeah,
called
dude.
I'm a
Yeah.
come clean.
I'm a cum clean.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come dirty, you got a problem.
Welcome to my
Yeah.
life, dude.
You know? Do you have
Like it's
chlamydia?
brown and shit.
No.
Did you get the clap? Have you ever had the
No,
clap?
I have not had the clap. What's the clap? Is
Chlamydia.
it clap's just the chlamydia? I
It's where
remember
you,
watching Easy A, that movie,
Easy A.
Yeah.
with like
With
Emma
Stone.
Emma
yeah.
Stone,
I
and
don't
then
know
like
what
the
that is.
Amanda
boy
Bynes.
gets he's fucking a teacher.
No.
This guy's
Somebody
fucking a
mentions it all the
teacher.
time.
He's in high school, and then they both get chlamydia, and then like it spreads.
He's
and,
also like
from the
he's
teacher.
he's like 4 years like late out of high school too. Though. But you have you never seen that movie?
No. Wait. So it's a high school student fucking the teacher,
Yep.
Yeah.
and the teacher's a female. Or?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
And the teacher gives him chlamydia.
Nice.
It was a
Wild
good
as
movie,
fuck.
dude.
Yeah. It's insane. But
Well, that's cool.
You ever like, get a close case of chlamydia? You ever been like a girl?
No. Well, I never had. Yeah, I've been lucky, but there's been like moments, you know, when I was younger where, you know, you get a little adventurous, and then the next day you're like, "Am I?" It's like psychosomatic.
My
Or
So you're like peeing, and then it burns a little bit,
Yeah.
but you're like, "Do I have something?" And you start
Yeah.
freaking out. I remember the first time I ever smoked a cigarette. I was 12, and it was a clove. It wasn't even a real cigarette.
What's a clove?
It's like what is a clove? Have you guys smoked a clove?
is it just like those like movie set kind of cigarettes? Type
It's
shit?
like a blunt basically,
Oh,
but
okay.
with the tobacco, right? So I
Okay.
smoked it at a party. I smoked half of a clove, and then the next day, I thought I was addicted to cigarettes. So like I have that kind of mind.
Do you
where-
still smoke and shit though?
No, I don't smoke. Yeah, I mean, but there's just that moment of like. You absorb
I
all the
feel like, yeah.
propaganda when you're a kid, and then you
just
think
get paranoid
like,
and
yeah,
shit,
you're
like,
like,
super
oh,
easily.
I guess I'm
Yeah.
addicted. I remember. Did you guys have Dare? I'm aging myself right now. I don't give a shit.
Dare.
Dare.
It's like
Yeah,
the
I've seen
drugs,
those
like
t-shirts.
champagne, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like it was a big campaign. They had like a Dare officer that came to our elementary school, and they would teach you about, you know, how to say no to drugs. And you got this booklet, and I remember it was in 4th grade. I remember reading through the booklet. They went through all the drugs, and there's like little cartoons showing like illustrated guy and the effects of the drugs, like cocaine. He was all jittery. And then the one that caught my attention was LSD, and I was like, "That looks fun." I remember thinking, like, "I want to try that." It introduced me.
That's what you want. What did the picture look like?
He was like
Just smiling.
It was just hallucinating. There was like all these. He was like interacting with like cartoon figures. It was all super colorful.
That's
It was like the
last
same,
thing you
like-
should show a kid and
Yeah,
shit.
it was like the same stick figure, but like they would show each drug how the illustrated what it had, the effects of the drug. But the LSD was like the coolest looking one.
Did they have like alcohol on that brochure as well?
Yeah, alcohol was part of like the drug, but really they were like focused on the hard drugs like heroin and cocaine and how to say no. But all it did was just introduce me to drugs.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
And
sick.
apparently I'm not the only one. A lot of people,
It was just a
got
it was a
affected by
master
that.
class.
Yeah.
So occasionally I'll see them. I'll see like 3 guys, with a pop-up table for Dare outside of a Best Buy. They still exist. And they're always like, "Hey man, come and sign it." I'm like, "You introduced me to drugs." And they never know how to respond. They like smile and get offended.
Have you ever tried LSD?
Yeah, I've tried it. Yeah.
Are you a fan of it?
What's that?
Are you a fan of it?
Yeah, I think if it's real, like there's a lot of people that sell fake LSD, which it's not really it. But I got some. I always wanted to try it, and I tried it later in life. There was a guy, DJ. I'm not going to say his name, but he had
Khaled?
very like long white hair. He was younger. He like grayed early. Super mellow guy, and he was going down to Mexico for some event, and he said, "Hey, I know a guy that used to sell to the Grateful Dead LSD, and do you want any? Because I know you said you wanted some." I said, "Yeah, get me as much as you can." So he brought back it was literally half of a 3x5 index card. It was just like blotter, and so he cut it in half, and then I had to cut up the strips by myself, the little blotter.
Whoa,
paper.
you bought wholesale.
I bought like it was like 50 hits of acid, and
Whoa.
I kept it in a little jar in a little baggie inside of a fish stick box that was in my freezer. Fish sticks, like Trader Joe's fish sticks. And I was dating this girl at the time, and I was like, "Look, the acid's in the fish stick box. Just be aware." And like a month later, I was like, "Okay, I got the courage to try it. I wanted to see what it was all about." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go." I have the whole day to myself. It's probably like 10 a.m. And I was like, "I'm gonna go on a bike ride." I lived on the west side, like Pico Robertson, and I'm gonna go like just bike around. I'm gonna see what this is about. Loaded up the iPod and put the headphones in. I took a hit of the acid, and I went on this bike ride. And I was like starting to feel energetic because it releases energy in your body. And I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep going." And basically, long story short, I did 45 miles. I biked for 12 hours. I went from West Side to Hollywood to USC to Venice Beach up to Santa Monica and back, and it was insane. Changed my life. And
Damn, dude, you Forrest Gumped it.
I Forrest Gumped it. Yeah, I Forrest Gumped on acid. But I remember like it was incredible because the act of bike riding, it was a certain type of trip. I was listening to the music. I was like one with the bike, and having all these thoughts and realizations. And then you'd come to a stoplight, and then you'd stop, waiting for it to turn green. And when I came to a stop, that was a whole other journey. It was like reflecting on what I just saw and what my future was going to be. And
Whoa.
I remember, like, as I was really coming up on the acid, and, keep in mind, I've never tried it before up to that point. So it was a whole new experience.
Wait, that was your completely first time?
I kind of did it in college, but it wasn't real.
Mm.
I mean, it was, but it wasn't like a full dose.
Yeah.
It was like a partial dose. That was a whole other experience, but this was like a full dose, fully immersive. And I'm like Vermont and Hollywood, and there's 2 police helicopters in the sky. There's like 10 cop cars all like in the middle of the street, and a bunch of cops standing around, like, and I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I was like, "I'm gonna go talk to this cop." I was tripping balls, but I'm like, "I'm gonna do it." I feel confident. I feel like I could be a human. And I stopped my bike, and I was like talking to him, like trying to get his attention. And he's like, his arms are out, and he's like looking up at the sky, and he wasn't looking in my eyes. I'm glad he didn't, because my eyes were totally dilated. I was like, "What's going on, man? What's going on?" And he goes, "There was a armed robbery that just happened at the bank, and they shut down that whole part of the street." I just remember.
What year was that? Was that like 94?
94? How old do you think I was?
There's like, because you've seen SWAT, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's
No.
a whole, because that was based off of something that happened in LA, right?
Yeah. No, it was like 2010.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 94.
Could have been 10, I don't know.
I was 12, okay? Grunge was real, all right? Kurt Cobain died. Tupac died as well. I remember when Tupac died. I was like 13 or 12 or something. I was dating this girl. She was a white girl, but she was gangster. Like, she wore Dickies pants and, like, blue. I liked her because she was, like, dangerous. And she was my friend's sister.
Whoa, you're a dog.
Yeah. And she loved Tupac, and she was so sad when he died. That's all I remember.
Were you sad, or were you like, huh?
I like Tupac a lot. I mean, he was, back then, even being, like, at that age, he was amazing. We all knew how incredible he was. I was sad, yeah. I mean, I don't get that sad when celebrities pass.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't fucking know them.
What about Michael Jackson?
When Michael Jackson died, I heard about it, and I was living on the West Side still. I lived on the West Side for a little bit, same place where I took this acid, and I heard that he died. He was at UCLA Medical Center, and I was like, I just got to go there. I need to be around. I was not the biggest Michael Jackson fan, but it was such a big story. I got on my bike, and I biked to UCLA, and I was like, just kind of doing laps around the hospital. This crazy crowd was out, helicopters in the sky, and I just wanted to be around the energy. It was weird.
Damn, were you on acid?
No, I wasn't on
acid.
acid.
I biked around the hospital for 12 hours.
I did have I had this boombox system because I used to ride with this group called Midnight Riders.
I think you told me about.
They're like a late night bike riding group. They still exist in LA, but they were really big from like 2008 till around 2014. I rode with them from like 2010 to 2012, right around there. And, some rides would be like 50 people, and some rides would be like 1,500 people, all dressed in crazy costumes. And every ride was different. Anyone could start a ride, and then your ride would just grow in popularity. It made me fall in love with LA. It was amazing because you just got to see all these random places you would never go to on a car, and it was really empowering because you could, you can bike anywhere in the city. Like, there's this myth that it's a car city. No, you can bike anywhere you want. And I think when I took the acid and I went on this bike ride, that was kind of the turning point for me. I knew about them, and then after that ride, I'm like, I got to go join this group and go on these rides. And so yeah, back to my story. I had one fun part about the rides was people would play music. So people would have like these trailers with these giant speakers, and they would have a playlist. And it really it's fun because it's like a concert, on a bike. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to ever get a trailer, but I wanted to provide music. So I bought this like guitar amp, and I got a cheap backpack, and I cut a hole in it, and it was battery operated, but it was loud as shit. And I would play music on the rides, and it was kind of like, I love music and movies, and I would always pick a certain song depending on where we were. Like, one time I played Willy Wonka theme, Pure Imagination, as we were going through this dark park. Another time I played Bill Hicks, stand up, But I remember when I went to go be around Michael Jackson when he just died at the hospital, I was playing
Staying Alive.
I was playing this music. Yeah. I'm looking for the man. I was playing this music as I was going around. I don't know. I just wanted to provide. I mean, he was, I saw him once at the Beverly Hills Hotel. I was doing a job, and he was staying in, I don't know why, he was staying in a hotel room. All the hotels are kind of bungalows. Not all of them, but where I was at was a bungalow, so you could, open the door and you're out in the terrace. And there was 4 kids running around in the courtyard, and I didn't know he was staying there. And then all of a sudden the door opened, and it was Michael Jackson. And he's like, come on in. And he was telling them to come back, come back into the room. I don't think Michael Jackson, I don't think he fucked kids. I think he was a kid. I think his dad fucked him up when he was really young. Mm-hmm. And he was he didn't trust adults, because every adult he ever encountered was just,
Just fucked him over.
fucked him up. And I do believe like he, related to kids because they were pure at heart. I don't know. That's just my personal belief.
Yeah.
I don't buy into the whole like. It just doesn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that Chappelle bit is what kind of like that's true. Like the
What was the bit?
it was
Culkin.
like if Michael Jackson's fucking kids, then why not Macaulay Culkin? He was
Yeah.
like, if I was a pedophile,
Yeah.
I'm not a pedophile, but if I was,
Yeah,
fucking
you fuck
Macaulay
Macaulay.
Culkin. That's what he said.
But because Macaulay was on record saying
Yeah.
nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
yeah, so like that, I feel like that speaks.
Yeah,
volumes.
I just think he was like he fucked him up. There was all these rumors that his dad, they did, I don't know if it's true, but they castrated him in order to keep his voice, from dropping.
Wait, what is cast? Does that mean
Like
cutting off?
remove your balls? Like,
Oh my gosh!
I don't know.
Does that work though?
There's like chemical castration.
Yeah.
There's like rumors out there. I don't know if they're true or not, but there was this, theory that he, in order to maintain his voice and keep it from like lowering in octaves, like as he went through puberty, this was the solution.
Whoa!
Because he was a cash cow. The guy made,
Yeah.
And there's some weird videos of him talking. He's speaking out against Sony and his contract, and I don't know. His music is great.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the
RIP.
documentary on him, or that they did on
I think-
HBO?
Yeah, I think that was kind of going into the allegations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that, and I mean, I don't know.
haven't
I
watched
wasn't
it.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that say that like they saw it and it's kind of like, it's like you watch it, there's like no way. I haven't seen it because I feel like I'm not.
I don't want to
I
ruin a
kinda, like,
song.
as ignorant
My
as it
sister's
sounds,
like a big fan. Like I remember as a kid, she would always be like singing Michael Jackson, and like when the doc came out, obviously years later, I was like, "Did you watch it?" She's like, I'm not gonna believe it. I don't want to watch that." And I was like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
still interesting,
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to watch it. And I was like, okay, well.
Yeah, I mean,
Insane.
I don't know. It's all. When do you separate the
Yeah.
artist from the art?
Yeah, because honestly, you think about it too, like there's got to be just people just like that have like formed human civilization. Like you
Yeah.
probably think about like Aristotle and Plato and all those dudes. Those are probably like pieces of shits.
Yeah.
At the same time, it's like,
no-
Well, they're all
Look at what they
Greek, so
did.
they were definitely fucking kids.
but it's like, but at what point are we gonna be like, okay, well, fuck those guys and fuck whatever they like
Yeah.
they've said and shit. It's just kind of like,
Yeah.
at some point, it's like, yeah, we should be able to separate. Like,
Well, it's kind of like, it's the whole thing with cancel culture where people are like, I remember there was a thing that came out about like John Wayne and like what he did. It's like John Wayne was a product of a certain period of time. Like,
Yeah.
you can't go backwards. Like,
Yeah.
you can only, I don't know.
yeah,
It's wild.
it's weird.
I
Everybody's
remember-
trying to cancel like Christopher Columbus,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
like I get like, yeah, okay, we'll change the day, but everybody's so mad about it.
I mean,
It's
but
like-
he's always been a piece of shit.
Yeah,
right?
but it's like literally, it's
Yeah.
like, but like, who cares? Like that
Yeah.
was years, like centuries ago. Like let that shit go. Like, how are
Yeah.
you mad about that?
The
Yeah.
damage is
Makes
done.
no sense to me.
Like, because I separated hard. I remember I applied to CalArts,
Yeah.
and then like they're very liberal, and I remember I was like, yeah, I want to separate the art from the artist, and I like send in like a short edit with an XXXTentacion song, and I was like, despite it all, good song.
Yeah.
I did not get in, obviously.
Did he get canceled?
Because he was like, I remember I was like defending him for the longest, because he like beat his girlfriend like
Oh.
hard, like really hard, like
Chris Brown style?
yeah, like even harder. Like
Wow.
he
died, right?
yeah, he passed
Yeah.
away. Like he was like my Tupac.
Yeah.
Not even ironically. I remember like the day before he passed away, I was searching up how to produce like one of his songs, and I was like, this dude's crazy. And the next day he gets shot and killed in Miami.
Damn.
And then I'm like, this is a shame. But like they released a documentary. I think it premiered at Sundance in like February. And it was all his friends were saying like, yeah, he had this girlfriend and like he just kept her in a room, and like every time she'd come out, she just looked like more frail and like dead in
shit.
her eyes.
Yeah.
And like one time they're in a car ride together, and X's friend made a joke, and then she laughed, and he just like looked at her, and then like by the time they got home, they just hear the bathtub running and just getting hit
Oh.
in the bathtub, and like her eyes were just like bleeding, and then like she eventually like had him make an escape, and like it was so bad, and I'm like, fuck. I applied to CalArts for this dude.
Wait, you defended?
Because this is before the information. It was before the information. I was like, what do you guys mean? I'm like, no,
Yeah,
like
you didn't wanna believe it.
I didn't want to believe it.
Yeah.
But then after the documentary, I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
there
that's
it goes.
bad.
No,
Yeah.
I lost so many friends defending this guy.
Yeah, there's I'm trying to tell you, man. Yeah.
Looking Sad's a good song.
Some character development right there. Though,
It is,
bro.
yeah. I'm like, because I remember I was like, yo, because I don't know, I was so pro him.
Yeah.
Because like his interviews, he was so well spoken and like young and like artistic, and he was funny.
Yeah.
And then so was Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
It's literally insane.
I still watch Bill Cosby.
What do you
Just
watch?
about it all.
Yeah. What do you
Just-
watch?
Wait, no, like I would if he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna have a show at the Improv."
You would
I'd
go.
be first in line.
I think
just-
everyone would go
right?
because dude, everybody would go because like I mean that's why there's traffic jams when there's a car wreck. Everyone likes
Yeah.
to look at
Yeah.
That's why people like fight videos and
Yeah.
we're
Star.
we're animals.
We like the drama.
Yeah, we like the drama and we like anything that's out of the norm, I guess.
You ever get in a fight?
It's been a while. I got into the last fight. I don't really fight. I'm not a fighter. I will fight though. If it comes down to it. So if it's me or them, I'll fight. I'm ready. Got a lot of rage inside me.
Yeah.
Okay? Looking at you. I was looking at the camera.
Daniel.
Looking at you, dude. You want to fucking fight me? No. I think I was in high school. There was this there was a guy, some dude, like a skinny guy. Me and my buddy were like going through. I grew up in Napa Valley. I'm born in Jersey, grew up in Napa. Napa's like, you say Napa, people are like, oh, fancy. It's like, no, Napa City was just like a working class town. It wasn't anything special. It is now. They've made it, super lame and upscale but
Whiny.
yeah, it's just like bougie. But back when I grew up, it was just a regular city, and we were walking in the bad part of Napa. There was a bad part, and these guys that I knew from school, I kind of knew them. I don't know. They just, kids are. They just they were picking a fight, and one of the guys was like pushing me. He was like, I'm a short guy. He was smaller than me. And he was coming up to me and pushing me, and I don't remember really what happened, but I snapped, and I hit him in the face, and he fell down, and then I got over him, and I grabbed his hair, and I was bashing his head into my kneecap.
Damn.
Until he was like fucking bloody, because I'll snap, so I don't like to fight. I did get into a fight, actually. Yeah, I got into a fight a couple of years ago.
Was that not a fight right now?
No, because my mind went to that was the last fight, but I did. There was a fight I got into.
It was a scrimmage.
It was a friend of mine. I don't want to go too in detail with it, but he was an ex-friend, and I found out he was with an ex of mine at a weird time, and I drank a lot of whiskey, and he kind of let me beat him up. It was weird. It was a weird moment.
He was like, "Yeah, I am a piece of shit."
Yeah, I punched him a few times in the face. I try to avoid violence, though. I don't like to.
Cool.
I don't like to be confrontational. I really avoid confrontation. I hate confrontation.
Yeah, same.
To the point where I'll just, stay at a job or something for past the prime, just
be
because I don't want to
abused and shit.
I don't know what the fuck that's about. I got some issues with my childhood, but what about you? Have you been in it? When was the last fight you were in?
I think I get like too emotional.
Yeah.
If I got in a fight, I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, I keep missing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like I would still feel as angry after doing it. Like,
Right.
did you feel any better after?
This last fight with the friend that we had this confrontation over a girl, I felt amazing. Like,
oh,
yeah.
sick.
I felt
In that
I
case.
felt incredible.
It's just an ad like, hey, like fight through your problems.
We were on a job. It was a 3-day music video shoot, and it was he basically told me about what happened the night before the job, and we were staying at the same Airbnb with
Oh
the
my
rest of the
gosh.
crew, and it fucked up my whole shoot. Like, it really threw me through like an emotional tornado. And so I had to like work with them for like 3 days in a row. It was like big time betrayal for me, because I hate secrets. I don't like when people lie or they're holding stuff. I don't mind if like people move on. I just like transparency. So if you're gonna fuck me, like let me know you're fucking me. Don't wait.
That was weird. That
Is that gonna be the sound clip?
No,
No,
don't.
but you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to be like the government. I love the government. I want them to tell me that, and they do a good job of telling us that they're fucking us. Look at inflation. But yeah, so I don't know what the fuck I was. What am I saying here? It felt good because I think my former self would have been like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and I just would have left that situation after the shoot was over, and I feel like I would have regretted not confronting this person.
Yeah.
It would have just kind of slipped away, because there's been moments in my life where I haven't fully confronted people.
Yeah.
And it just like and then you're always like, damn, I should have said something or stuck up for myself. And I had the opportunity to do it. And I remember, I left. I was like, we were staying at this house outside of San Francisco, and I had family in Napa, and I was like, I'm going. I left it like after the fight. I got in my car at like 4 in the morning, and I drove home. I felt great. It was like a good sense of closure.
Yeah.
So I feel like when you break up with someone, I always hear, and it's true, there's like 2 breakups. There's like the initial breakup, and then there's the real breakup that happens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you break up with someone, and then there's like this emotional tether of like, maybe we'll get back together. We're still talking. We're still checking in. And then there comes a point where it's like the real breakup, where it's like the cord is severed, and then you can truly like move on.
Yeah.
Because this particular person, she was kind of keeping me around for 6 months.
Oh, damn.
You know, we never like hooked up or anything, but there was like an emotional tether
100%.
that wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And so this was like, oh, cool, true colors are out. Here we go. And
Bitches
That's-
ain't shit.
yeah.
That's also cool. He was like, hey, by the way, I'm fucking your ex. He's like, but good luck with the shoot.
Dude, I
I'm
was
doing-
so
I'm your run-
pissed. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
you're
a
so selfish,
crazy
man. Like,
timing.
you couldn't have told me at the end, like,
Yeah.
because I was excited about the shoot, and I promoted him to a higher position. He was my DP on this shoot,
Oh
and it
my
was
gosh.
like, you know, the person that was financing the shoot, she was kind of a friend. They were putting a lot of money into it, and it was so hard to do it. You know, like the next day, like going to set, and like, just it was really tough. It was like, it's hard, man. Like, you know, it's like so.
When you confronted him, did you know it was gonna turn into a fight, or did you
No.
just want to? Oh, okay.
I didn't think that was gonna happen.
Did he say something that like triggered you to fight?
Of like the punch, or like the
Well, I'm
fight.
saying like
Yeah,
the punch.
well,
like,
we
whatever the
we
first
basically
contact was.
after we wrapped the shoot, we went back to this house and that we were staying at, and we were celebrating, and people were drinking, you know, and everyone. We were staying with like 5 other crew members, and it was a big house, and they all went to bed one by one until it was just me and him in the kitchen. And once everyone went to bed, he said something. He was like, man, how can we be friends and like keep being friends? And I was like, what? No, that's not a friend. And then I was like, let's go outside. And then we were like in the streets screaming at each other.
Damn.
I basically got him to admit that he never really cared about me as a friend in that moment. And that's what made me like snap, because I'm loyal to my friends, and you know, try to like bring them into stuff or help them. And
Yeah.
Did he stay on the shoot too though?
Well, that was the end. That was the end of the shoot.
Okay.
It was the I wanted to be professional, and I wanted to go to work and get it done, and make the shoot happen. You know, but I'll never forget. Like, there was a moment on the first day where he was like setting up a shot, and I was looking at the back of his head, and I saw like a bead of sweat run down the top of his head, down his neck. And my mind immediately went to him, like, on top of my ex, sweaty and like, that's what I went to. And it was like, I just wanted to throw up. I did throw up, actually. I threw up several times on the first day.
Damn.
It was weird. It's a weird thing of emotions.
Out of anxiety? Like,
Yeah, so,
I
like,
do that too.
Yeah, the
That's
first
sick.
day I was, like, sick to my stomach, like, not in my chest. The second day I was really sad. Like, as we went in between locations, I was, like, crying in my car alone. Like, just like trying to deal with that emotion. And then the third day I was like fucking pissed. I remember thinking like I wanted to kill. That the third day was when all the anger came, and then you know it resulted in a fight. But you know, I don't talk to that guy. They're still together, and
They're
you know,
together.
yeah. I mean, as far as I know,
Damn.
but you know what? You know what's weird is like there is like a choice in your life when these things happen to you. And I remember when he told me what had been going on, my very first millisecond reaction was like, that makes total sense, and I'm glad, because you both like you emotionally match with each other, whereas like her and I didn't work at all. Like, we had a really tough time, but like I ultimately made peace with it all, and we did years later, her and I did connect, and I was like, let him know that I'm like totally okay with everything, and like I'm actually genuinely happy for you both, because
cool.
like I came to peace with it. But it's like in the initial moment of like the circumstance of like being on a job on location, your ego's involved. It's like you don't want to deal with that shit. I think I was more upset of just like the timing. Like, if he would have told me like a month after we broke up, hey, your girl and I like each other, I would have been like, that sucks, but I totally get it. Like, because I'm not possessive or anything, you know. And people like some people aren't compatible and other people, are. I'm not like one of those guys that's like, you can't fucking... I'm just like transparency. Like, just be a bro and let me know what's going on. And when people aren't transparent, it's tough. And I try to apply that to my life. But it's sometimes hard telling the truth, like being honest. It's like, I get it. And so, no hard feelings. I do wish them well. And, they make sense to me, like, as a couple. So,
Have you ran into any of them since?
No. I did. I saw them one time on the street. They were walking together, and I held down my horn and I flipped them off. This was after I made peace with them. Just because I had to. I'm like, I have to. I can't be like, hey,
hey, buddy.
But I don't know what is going on with both of them, so we don't talk. But if I saw them today, I'd flip them off as I drove by.
Well, it's actually funny that you say that because come in.
It's just Maury Povich. It's Jerry Springer.
We said this whole thing up.
Can we do a quick who Rick is? I don't know if we did that yet.
Yeah,
did we do that?
we did.
Oh yeah.
Rick.
Are you rolling? Have you been rolling?
I just started rolling. No.
We met Club Bahia 2020, 2 months before COVID hit.
2020?
That was 2020.
Oh, it was?
It was 2020.
No,
like
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was 2019 we met.
Yeah.
End of 2019.
It was end of 2019. I
Yeah.
thought it was.
I think it was
We didn't do any screenings in 2020.
because 2020 I was already
No.
doing my internship.
He was
Oh,
already doing
shit.
this- Yeah, it was end of
Wow.
2019.
There goes my whole backstory.
Yeah. I met you. That was a special screening because we had an executive from Warner Brothers approach myself and my one of my creative partners, John Wesselcouch, and he loved our work. And he's like,
John's so funny,
he's like,
dude.
I want you to come in. Like, let's come in for a general. And we like went in. Turned out he was just like an assistant. He wasn't like a giant, high up on the ranks. We pitched him a show that we thought was good, but he like went blank. His face went blank
Damn.
when we were pitching it to him. It was way too long. He never got back to us because COVID happened. It was like a week later, shut down. But
Fuck.
yeah, we met at a screening. It was a monthly screening in Hollywood called. It was just at this place called Club Bahia. I was showing my work, and you came up and approached me afterwards. And then we kept in touch on Instagram. And then
Or I sent you a sketch, and then you actually watched the whole thing, and I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
it was cool, Hollywood.
I'll watch your shit. If people send me their stuff, I might not watch it right away, but I will more than likely always watch it. And I'll watch the whole thing. Unless it's like, one time I used to run this film festival. I still am. I haven't done it.
I
since
submitted to
pandemic.
that, and then COVID hit, and I was like, oh, my $10 submission fee
Yeah.
back.
I refunded it.
I don't think I got it.
Film Freeway. I refunded everything.
I'm going to double check. If not,
Dude,
I'm going to send a Venmo request.
I fucking emailed Film Freeway. I said refund everyone's submission fees.
All right,
If they
I'm gonna
didn't.
Venmo
take it up with
request.
them.
Film Freeway.
It's not me, because I didn't get any money from that. But
Me neither.
during that submission, someone sent me. They sent me 90 1-minute experimental short films. And
Jesus.
they were like,
Wait. 90?
yeah,
90 of them.
90.
And they were 1 minute?
Yeah, and they were no narrative. They were all experimental. And the guy wrote, he said, just pick out which ones you like best. And I didn't even watch them. I'm like, I don't have fucking time for that.
That's crazy.
I'm not your mom. Tell me what you like and send it. Like, what the hell?
Wait, how much was each submission? It was
That was before I started taking submission fees.
oh,
That was
okay.
like the second year.
That's crazy.
And then the third year, which was 2020, I was like, I got to start taking fees because we were getting more popular. And also, like, all the money was going to go back into the event anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really make any money off of it. I think the first two screenings I made like $500 each, which is nothing, just to run the whole thing. Yeah. But I want to bring it back eventually. But yeah, we kept in touch. You sent me your sketch, and then
What sketch was it?
It was bars.
That's great.
yeah, that was great. And then you hit me up at the end of 2021, and you were like, "I have an internship program with Emerson, and I want to intern for you." And I was like, I'm a guy, dude. I used to have an office, and I'm just living at home, okay? You were persistent, which is awesome, because you were persistent, and you were, like, very adamant about interning for me. And then finally I was like, okay, I got to do it. Like, I'll figure out something for you.
That's sick.
Like, to do. Because I was more, like, legit in terms of my setup. I had an office above this now rest in peace bar called Good Luck Bar. It was in Los Feliz, in the heart of Los Feliz, and it. I don't know if you guys know the filmmaker Ed Wood. Tim Burton made a movie about him starring Johnny Depp. He was a filmmaker back in like the late 40s into the 50s, and he was known for making really, really bad movies. Like, he worked outside of the studio system. He was an independent director, which that didn't really exist back in the 50s. You're either working for the studio system or you're not working at all. Because it was so expensive. Like, you couldn't get the cameras in the film, but he figured out a way to do it. And he made this really famous film called Plan 9 from Outer Space, which is like, you know, it was like the Room movie back in the day.
Whoa.
And anyway, he worked and lived in the building that my office was in. I didn't know that until about a year into being there, and someone told me this is Ed Wood's old spot. And I was like, this makes sense, because I was doing these green screen videos where I was dressing up as a woman, and he was like a known cross-dresser. Like, he would wear like dresses, and like as he wrote his scripts, you got to watch. You have to watch, like, the Tim Burton movie is amazing with Johnny Depp. It's all in black and white, and they kind of go into this. But yeah, he was like a known cross-dresser, and I had never like put on a dress before in my life. And I'm making these sketches on the green screen with like dressing up as like female characters, and I guess channeling his energy. But that was a special building, and
they're gonna say like you saw his ghost or something, or
I
you just
did.
felt.
I did feel an energy there.
Yeah.
Like, I would work late. I would stay in the office till I lived a few blocks away. I would stay there till 3-4 in the morning. And I remember when I would walk, it was a long hallway. It was super creepy. And for a while, I was me and then my old college roommate were the only ones that were in this building of 14 different offices. So I would often stay there alone, and I would hear weird noises, you know, through the walls, and then I remember one time I was walking down the hallway, and it straight up felt like someone was following me.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
something was like on top, like seeing me out. And it was creepy. I would always feel, it wasn't like an evil ghost, but it wasn't like a nice ghost. It was just like there was energy there, and you could feel it, and other people could feel it too. And I remember one time, like a year, I was there for 6 years, so like a year and a half into being at that office, maybe 2 years, I was writing, I was up really late, and I heard like footsteps. And no one's in this building. They never come in. And then I heard like creaks, and then I heard more footsteps, and I opened the door, and I was pissed, and nothing's there. And I remember I stand like in the center of the hallway, and I just start yelling at like the nothing, and I was like, listen. I said a speech. I was like, I know you're here. I recognize you. Like, and I just want to let you know I'm not going anywhere, and we can coexist together. And I respect you, but like, I'm not leaving. So just be chill, and I'm creative, and like whatever you are, and like we're gonna be cool, okay? We're gonna share the space. And then like, it was this whole like impassioned speech that I gave.
That's crazy.
I like spoke from the heart. I was like, listen! I was screaming. I'm not going anywhere! I'm staying here, you hear me? And I'm screaming, and it stopped. It like stopped. It stopped being creepy. It
was like
stopped
the-
like...
Yeah, wasn't there was just like a homeless guy? Like,
Dude, there were so many... I love this building. So it was like... I knew when I was in this building, I'm like, I'm going to look back at this office when I'm old. I'm always going to look... This was a magical space. The Vista Theater was right next door. It was incredible. There was always like a collection of homeless people that were in the parking lot. And I get along with homeless people. I get along with like everybody. But like homeless people will come up to me and they'll just like start telling me their problems or talking to me. And they'll be like, I talked to the rainbow yesterday and it told me I was God. And I'll be like, really? Like, tell me more. And like, we'll have a conversation. Most people like ignore that, but I want to converse. I want to like talk. Like, let's get down to business. What did you see? What happened? So they would give me, like, there was one guy in particular, he would give me gifts. He would steal from the Goodwill late at night, and he would be like, I got a leather jacket for you. Put it on me. I got these books for you. And he would, like, give me stuff, and he was like a dad or something. He was so nice.
This homeless guy?
One homeless guy. There was another guy that was like a Buddha. He was, he would just sit there. People would bring him food. He didn't speak English. Like, he would speak, like, gibberish, but he was always super nice. And then there was this other guy. One time I didn't know who he was, and he had like this suitcase, and he was out there with some friends. He goes, hey man, could you store this suitcase for me? I'm gonna be going away for 2 weeks. I think he was going to jail. And I was like, what? And he's like, I need a place where I can put the suitcase. It's like this tattered suitcase. And I was like, all right, I'll keep it for you. So I brought it into the office. I told him to stay outside because I didn't know who he was. And I kept it in an empty office for 2 weeks. And then he came and collected it. And people are always like, did you open the suitcase? And I was like, no, I didn't want to. I didn't want to open that suitcase. I didn't want to know what was in that suitcase.
Yeah, that's pretty scary, dude.
Who knows what was in that suitcase? But
His daughter.
yeah, that's what I thought. It was going to be like body parts or something.
Yeah.
You would have smelled it though, you don't think?
Yeah, no, it's probably
He's
just
like,
like
yeah, it did
clothes
smell
and
like.
a knife or something. I don't know.
Damn.
But there was another guy named George, and he would wear dresses, and he had long gray hair, and he was like a fixture in that part of town. He'd walk around with bare feet, and he would just like terrorize people. He was cool with me. He played guitar. He was fine. And I remember this one time we had a rooftop on this office, and I remember I went to the roof. I would go up to the roof often, and I was looking out, down on the street, and I saw him like harassing this group of girls, and they told him to get away. Then he harassed somebody else, and then he like went over to the Vons, and he's just being a terror. He's going in the middle of the street,
God.
like on Hollywood Boulevard, yelling and screaming. And then I watched him. I tracked him for like 20 minutes, and I watched him go back into the parking lot of my office building, and he had like a little tent. And he sat down and he like meditated and he was calm, and then he changed his outfit and then he went back out and he was crazy. And I was like, this is like a fucking stage for him.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Because you're like driving in your car, you see someone in LA, there's a lot of homeless people in LA, and you're like, that guy's office rocker, but maybe he's just performing, you know?
Dude, I remember
Yeah.
I was in Los
It's like-
Feliz, I think a week ago, and I saw like a black guy with like he was homeless, and he had like a colored vest on, and he had a stick, and he was in the middle of the street just throwing it. And I was like,
Yeah.
look, it's colored guard.
Colored guard?
It's colored
What
guard.
does that mean? Like, what is
You know color guard from like high school, where like it's like girls who throw like poles up.
Oh.
They're like flags.
Okay.
I thought you were
Like-
being racist for a
Yeah.
second.
No, it was.
Yeah, he is being racist.
It was no. It was both.
It's called color guard?
It's called color guard, but this was colored guard. What
Oh, nice.
do you guys think about that? I'm gonna workshop it.
No response. There's a guy in Hollywood. I saw him the other day. He has a cross, and this is like believe in Jesus. He's a Hispanic older man, bald head, and he'll like take the cross and like he does
big
this
is it?
dance. Like when the light turns green, he'll go in the middle of the crosswalk. You see him. If you're like in
Whoa.
Hollywood, he's like around there.
How big is the cross?
It's pretty big. It's like as big as him. It's like 6 foot tall, big cross.
Damn, where does he store that?
Bro.
I don't know.
He sleeps on it like at night. Just
Yeah.
That's what I love about LA. There's just like, especially in Hollywood, Los Feliz, that whole area, there's so many characters,
I like Los.
Oh, it's the
How do you
best.
pronounce it? Los Feliz. Los Feliz.
It's supposed to be Los Feliz, but everyone says Los Feliz, which is not the correct pronunciation.
It feels right, but like I feel like remember like whenever you do the pause there, you run into someone in the industry, like
When we're there.
when we're there
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah, I always see somebody there. Like, there's a lot of creatives in that part of town, which I really like. A lot of people. Jack Black lives in that area.
Oh, sick.
Like, I've seen him a few times. Bill Burr lives over there.
Oh, what?
One time I was at this place called Spitz. It was it's like a kebab place. It's really good. It's on Hillhurst in Los Feliz, and I was there going to pick up food, and they had like an open mic night, and Bill Burr was there picking up food.
Whoa.
And so Bill was standing next to me, and I was like, "Hey man, I love your comedy." He goes, "Oh yeah, thanks man." And I said, "Are you doing an open mic here?" He goes, "What? No, I'm not doing. I'm here to pick up food." I was like, "All right, I'm stupid." I don't know.
Being in the industry for like a while and you work on a lot of cool things, how often do you get starstruck? Do you still get starstruck?
Yeah, I get starstruck. When was the last time I got starstruck? Shit, it's been a while. I don't really get starstruck that much anymore because they're all people.
Yeah.
And like, I encountered Robin Williams once, and like I got starstruck with him because I love the guy, and he was like the nicest,
Yeah.
sweetest human ever. He's so kind and like genuine. Like he like looked you in the eye and he connected with you. Adam Carolla, not so much, not so much Adam. Adam looked at me up and down and he goes, "You look like a guy that lives in a 1-bedroom apartment." And I was like, "You're right, dude, but fuck you."
That's how did he even? Was that the first line of
It
dialogue
was
you
probably
exchanged
like
with
the
him?
shoes I was wearing or like how I was dressed. And I remember like bummed me out. Like he was judging me.
Oh,
He's not the
mean,
nice.
dude.
Yeah, Adam's
Dickhead,
he was a
bro.
dick. Yeah, I don't like him.
Wait,
I
how
don't like
did?
him.
Were you on set or were you just in
I
public?
was doing an interview with him. I was shooting. I come from a DP background, so I was doing a lot of random shoots, with different people, and that was a particular one. We were interviewing all these weird stars. Adam Carolla was one. Corey Feldman was another one. It was very odd guy. But yeah, starstruck. Yeah, you gotta, like, when you're working with celebs and on shoots and stuff, you definitely have to train that out of yourself, because I think, the longer you stay here, the more you just see, like, they're people, and, it is fun. I think the funnest celeb sighting I ever saw, it was like my second year in LA, and I was in my car going down Sunset Boulevard, like the glitzy part of Sunset. I was at a red light, and I look over, and there's a limousine next to me at the red, and I look out, the window was open and everyone was laughing, and I look over and it was Rodney Dangerfield.
Whoa.
And these two young, like, blonde women that were with him, like, sitting next to him, and I was like, "Rodney, I love you," and he goes, "Hey kid, thanks." It was like it was like out of a movie. It was like incredible. That was like, I got starstruck with that.
That's
was
cool.
Awesome. But yeah, I think if I ever met, like, Scorsese or I got to meet Bob Odenkirk. I got starstruck with him because I love him, and his sketch comedy is incredible. Just all the stuff he does, and that was, I got very nervous meeting him. I have imposter syndrome a lot. I don't know if you guys have that, like, all the time. Like, I'm always like, "What? You like me?" Like, I'm never like, "I'm the best." I'm always like, "Are you sure?"
I have
like,
little spurts.
Are you sure about this?
I have spurts from, like, I'm the GOAT. Other times I'm like, I feel like you guys are going to hate me out. You guys are all going to not like me after the sketch. I don't know. Like, you ever have that?
Always. You always go, like, if I make my own work and, like, I'm done with it, or, like, I'm in the like, I love being on set. I feel alive. Or, like, in post, it comes together. I'm like, this is the best thing ever. Like, I love it. Like my own shit. And then, like, you put it out in the world, you're like, I don't know. I can never watch this again.
So does that just, like, never die then?
Yeah, I don't think it ever dies.
That's insane. How long have you been doing this? Like, at least just making.
I've been making stuff. I mean, I was doing stuff when I was a kid. I would go to my every summer. My sisters and I and my brother, we would go to my grandparents. They lived in Jersey, but then they moved to Florida. So we would go there for like 2 months at a time. So when I was like 12, 13, my grandpa had like a video 8mm camera, and he would just let me use it, and we'd start like making fake infomercials, and I made like when I was 13, I made like my own version of, it was just like a parody of Independence Day, called New Year's Day, and like playing all the parts and everything like that. Yeah, so I've always, like, it's always been around.
Yeah.
I used to, like, when I was 9 years old, I used to get these Video Maker magazines, and I remember I would look at the back of the magazines. They had, like, all the classifieds for all the camera companies in New York that were selling, like, all the photo video places in New York City that were selling cameras. And they'd have, like, the different models with the prices, and I would just, like, I wasn't looking at porn. I was, like, looking at cameras. Like, this is the camera I want to buy. Like, I want to buy.
Why does Sammy cameras add sticky?
What? Yeah, exactly. I remember my mom, like, got mad at me one time. She's like, "You're obsessed with cameras," and, like, it was like a bad. And she, like, taught me about cameras. She's a photographer. Yeah. She's really good. And so I'm like, "Is this your fault? Like, you introduced me to this shit."
I was, like, PAing for her on your birthday party.
Oh, yeah. She
was doing, like, a photo booth. Yeah. Like, for everyone.
She brought, like, this old Polaroid.
It was
camera.
so cool.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, Aldus, hold this." Then I would just hold the light for a while.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, I'm interning for the whole family now.
Yeah.
That's so sick.
How'd you get your main cam? Is that Alexa Mini?
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, I've always, when I graduated college, I was an editor for about 4 years, and then I knew I wanted to be on set. I was too chicken to just go out the gate like, I'm going to be a director, even though that's what I always wanted to do. Also, I didn't really know what my voice was back then anyway, so I needed to make money. I come from a poor working class family. I went to USC film school where like everyone there was like loaded, or like their uncle was somebody, and like for me, I had to work for it, and I'm grateful for that.
Isn't it weird though being around all nepotism babies? Because that was me. Because like I remember like I would be like grinding and like just like at all these like stuff, and then like someone who like I kind of knew who wasn't like making stuff, she's like, "Oh, I got an uncle at Marvel. It's cool." I'm like, it's so much like that at Emerson.
It puts things in perspective, because like when you're in high school and you're about to go to like the film school, like a really good one, you're like, "Oh, everyone's on my level. Everyone's going to be working hard," and then you're like, "Oh, wait, no, this is not. This whole thing is rigged." It's just like it's fixed. But that's how it is in all businesses.
Because I kind of get it. Like
like
it's not
when
just
I'm,
film. It's like
Yeah.
everything. Like, you know.
like because I don't blame them because like when I have a kid, like I want to put them on too.
Yeah.
But like I
You're
don't
gonna
know, it's
help 'em.
still yeah, I'm
The-
still gonna help. But it's also like damn, on the other side, I'm like fuck, they're going straight.
I think Spielberg's daughter was like speaking out against like nepotism. She's like, I have to work hard like everybody else. I'm like, okay.
Is she the one that turned into a porn star?
Was it? No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah. What?
His one
Yeah.
daughter is a porn star.
Yeah,
Really?
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Is she bad?
She was okay.
I don't know.
Because he's not.
You
that
watched?
attractive.
I looked and I was like, damn, she could be in movies.
That's
She could
insane.
be a AD. Why is she doing this?
Yeah. Daddy's attention. You know?
Yeah.
It's tough, especially if you're a workaholic. Like you're not
Yeah.
gonna be there. Like
I mean,
raising
she
a
got
family.
into the film industry, so.
Yeah.
one way or
Hollywood,
Not the way
dude.
you thought.
Because I always think about that. Like, I read like Miles Davis's autobiography, and
Yeah.
like he's like whenever every time I read a story about the goat, I feel like their personal life isn't as happy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the people around. Like I remember he was like, my son disappoints me. My second son is okay.
Yeah.
My daughter's like she's
Wow.
all right. Like and like his family life just doesn't seem right. And like when he quit jazz for like 4 years, he was indoors just like doing heroin and just like alone by himself, just
Wow.
depressed and sad. And I'm like fuck, which is why kind of like I want to find that balance because I'm like I want to grind so hard, but
Yeah.
also I want to be pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to
Okay.
burn out. I
So,
mean,
yeah.
look at. I mean, Robin Williams. Like he
Yeah.
suffered from. A lot of like very funny people have, you know, a dark side. Like that's where it comes from. I feel like it's more apparent in stand up than it is
Yeah.
like in. I got trained in improv and then I dabbled in stand up and you could see it like in what people are talking about and the jokes and like there is like I did stand up for 6 weeks and I stopped because I was like it's gonna take me. I gotta commit to this if I really want to do this and I don't want to commit to this craft. I'd rather commit to, you know, directing and making sketch comedy. But it did depress me because like I would go to these open mics and like someone would do a joke about how they've got cancer and they're living in their car and I'm like, where's the punchline? What is
Yeah, dude.
It felt like therapy. I'm like, this is sad. I can't be around this anymore.
I hate it because sometimes like I think every summer I get like kind of depressed for a bit and
Yeah.
then I get out of it from stand up.
Yeah.
Like because like stand up I'm like I don't even know if I like it. And other times like this is the best thing ever.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
like everyone in there is just sad and like
Yeah.
just trying to make it and like insecure.
You're
and, like,
chasing
angry.
a high. I mean,
Yeah, it's
like,
the high is
you're
what it is.
addicted to laughter, which is like fueling your feeling of self-worth. And
Yeah.
I used to be part of like the documentary crew for these Showtime specials, like Showtime comedy specials, and so I got to see a lot of these stand-ups, like, you know, that were off the stage and what they were like.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, the overwhelming feeling was a feeling of sadness and depression, even at their level.
Yeah.
There was still this. That's the crazy thing about this business. Like I've encountered some celebrities out there. I'm not going to name names, but there's still is like this sense of needing validation, even at their level with
Yeah.
all their awards, all of their recognition. They still need that sense. They need that hit of validation, and it bums me out. Like there was an actor, and I saw this in him, and I was like, damn, like you're a known name, and you still are trying to, you know, get attention from everyone on set. Just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's wild. So I think that's like the dark side of the business in the art form is like, you know, I think it's more so with actors, you know, people that are performing that are out there. There's like that sense of like needing to repair something that was broken in your childhood or whatever it is, you know, that happened, that you need to get validation. And, you know, I mean, I'm a victim of it too. Like I have those feelings. Like I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy being praised and making stuff, and you know.
Do you think it's like to that point though, where you feel like if you're not getting it, like you're wrecked and shit?
No, but there is like a feeling of like, I think it's good to look back and see what you've accomplished as you guys, you know, get older. You look back and be like, I did this, I did that.
Yeah.
There's a tendency to forget that, especially if you aren't working or you're having a slow period, to be like, I'm a piece of shit. I remember when I went freelance years ago, and I was like, I'm not gonna. So I was an editor, and then I had like a 9-to-5 editing job that paid really well, and then basically Red Camera Company announced that they were gonna make this Red One camera, and it was $1,000 deposit, and I was like, this is a pretty dope camera. I'm gonna put money down, and then I saved up money with this editing job, and then they released it, and it was at that period of like, I don't want to work 9 to 5 at this editing place. I want to get on set, so I'm going to use the camera as a way to get on set because it was so cutting edge. So I quit my 9-to-5 job. It was super scary at the moment because it was like taking this leap of faith, and like, you know, and then I entered the freelance life where you're working solid for a couple months, and then you have like 6 months of no work.
Yeah.
And then in those periods at the beginning of having no work, there was a feeling of like low self-worth, of like, I remember thinking like, no one likes me, I'm never going to work again, I'm going to have to sell everything, I'm going to have to move back home. And then like you get work again, you're like, okay, I'm working again. And I still feel that like when things do slow down, you are like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah. But, you know, as you get older, you learn how to, you know, be, you know, more, you know, smarter with your money, and, you know, for those periods of time when you're not working, so you have like a buffer, but then you take those moments to reflect and go on a trip or write a script or do something, you know, but it's never ending, like this journey of, but it's like, what do you want to do? Do you want to?
Yeah, I don't want to be a nurse.
Yeah, the thing, I mean, it's there's pain, there's like pain, you know, that comes with choosing this career and this lifestyle, but with that comes, you know, really
so much
big,
fulfillment.
a lot of fulfillment, and your own boss, and then you get to work with so many different people. So yeah, I mean, but all life is like that. Like, what do you want? You can have a 9 to 5. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I totally get it. I have a lot of people that I came up with that went and, you know, got executive jobs at Marvel and at Fox and these places where they had stability, but they also had families, you know, they had kids that they just, you know, gave birth to, and they just bought a house. And so, you know, I respect it completely. I think people have different things that they want out of life. Some people need that stability, which I totally understand. And then there's people like us that are, you know, broken.
Because I was thinking about it, like at the top, do you think Dave Chappelle's like that?
I'm sure Dave Chappelle goes through periods where he questions his career choice, or like what his next thing is. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Like, that's a human thing.
Yeah.
Like, he's riding, his waves are really high when a special comes out, but if he has nothing coming out, like, think about it. My friend was telling me, I got a director buddy of mine, he lives in Belgium, and we talk about this shit all the time, and he was like, you can go ask anyone, like, go take a poll on the street if they know who the actor Cary Grant is. You know, most people are going to forget. Cary Grant was like the biggest star of his time.
Oh.
You know who Cary Grant is?
I do not.
See what I'm saying? He was in It's a Wonderful Life. He was in North by Northwest with Hitchcock. He was huge. He was like, Tom Hanks is like a Cary Grant of our generation. Cary Grant was gigantic. Won Academy Awards, was like beloved. He was like the actor. But see, the guy that had it all, we forget about him. Like, you know, one day the sun is going to engulf the earth and all art's going to be gone. No one's going to even know who Shakespeare is or anything. So it doesn't really matter. But I'm sure, I guarantee you, Chappelle goes through those existential moments of, like, what am I and where am I and what is the next thing?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it comes with the territory of being an artist.
Yeah.
Like, it, you know, otherwise he would just work a regular job.
Where are you at right now, like with your career and like that mindset?
Yeah, I've made some changes recently. So I make a living at the moment. I do a lot of commercial directing, and there's been some changes with like the company that I'm repped at, and like going with something else, and like I don't want to say too much, but yeah, I think like with me, I feel like I'm in that in between moment of like, what's the next thing? Where do I want to go? I have a hard time like deciding like, I want to do this or I want to do that. I think once I decide, I can make it come together. But right now I'm like coming off the heels of a trip in Greece and just trying to take each day by day. I'm helping my girlfriend make her short. She wrote and she's going to be directing a short that I'm producing that we're going to shoot in a couple weeks, and like trying to, you know, focus energy on like helping other people. My buddies John and Sarah just made a short film that I helped make with them. So, but I mean, I go through it every day. Like there's definitely that feeling of like dread, you know, that you're like, what is this? I mean, I have my own fears, like especially about the economy and where we're headed, this runaway inflation that's going on. It doesn't feel like it's going to be an end in sight. You know, like rents are going up. Everything is so expensive, like gas. And so there's like,
nightmare.
Yeah, there's like a feeling of like, what's the future? So I'll oscillate between like reality of like, you know, things are dark and they're scary and what's going to happen. And then I'll flip back to like, okay, but gratitude, like the people in my life, the opportunities I have, like, you know, what's around the corner. I think I'm addicted to this lifestyle because one thing that's fun about it is like you don't know what's around the corner, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and I remember I got this job, you know, with The Weeknd last summer for GQ, and it was like this weird experimental film where he's not going to say anything on camera, and he was just like reading a magazine while the crew like tears everything down around him. It was 10 minutes. It's like an experimental art film that I got to help create and I got to direct, and like that came out of nowhere. I was like walking in Highland Park, and this creative director from GQ was like, "Hey, do you want to do this weird thing with The Weeknd?" I'm like, "Yeah." And like I look back, I like love that piece because it's so fucking weird. You know, it's just like it doesn't make any sense why it exists, and like so yeah, and like you live for those little moments of
that's so
these
cool.
things that pop up, and you know, and if they're not popping up, you create your own moments by, you know, as a director, filmmaker, like everything good that's come out of my life has come from making my own stuff, you know. Like I'm gonna do something. I don't think like, you know, people that are just starting out, I don't think you should ever make anything for someone else.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a bad idea. Like I'm gonna do this to get noticed. I think it's good to be strategic, you know, like see what's going on in the culture and be like, I'm gonna make something that kind of speaks to that. But I think ultimately it should be for you, making stuff selfishly that you enjoy, and then the rest kind of falls into place, you know. And I mean, comedy for me really wasn't a thing until recently, like 7 years ago. I kind of adjusted. I always wanted to be like a serious filmmaker. I like wanted to make serious films, and then I had this other idea of like who I was, and then life kind of showed me a different way, and then I, you know, adjusted. You know, so sometimes you don't know what your voice is, but you got to keep making stuff to eventually get to that place of like, oh, that's my voice. Yeah. And I think you know when when you found your voice when there's a visceral like reaction or response from the outside, like showing you like, give me more of that. I like that. You're like, okay, cool. I know how to tap into that or whatever that is.
What was your sketch where you're like, oh shit, okay, I think I found it? Or
well,
like piece of work?
Instagram, like in 2014, they started doing 15-second videos. It was always a photo app. And then they were like, okay, you can do 15-second videos. So I was like, that's cool. I'm going to make something specifically for that. So I did a 15-second comedy thing where I'm making fun of the idea that it's 15 seconds. It was like, the first video was like, it's the 15-second stand-up comedy tour. And it was like bright lights, big city. And I get on stage with a mic. And I'm like, hey guys, how are? And then it cuts off. And then like that, I put it out and I got like 30 likes, which I never got on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I had barely had any followers. And I was like, whoa, 30 likes. That's cool. And then I did another one and it was the same amount of, you know, traction. And then I did another one and then people were like responding to it and commenting and sharing it. And I'm like, this is cool. Okay. I'm like doing these. I made a movie and I was in post-production and it was taking forever. So I was like making these little comedy videos as like just to keep my brain active. And I was doing them in this old office. And I started like shooting with a GoPro. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to start. I remember there was this shift of like, I'll start shooting them on the Alexa with like proper lighting and
Such
sound.
a flex.
I started like,
Insane, dude.
I just started like building. Yeah, it was crazy back then to like shoot something on the Alexa for Instagram.
That's
And
so
then
crazy.
the moment for me, it wasn't like putting those videos out. It was the guy that I met. So Club Bahia, where we met, the guy that ran that night, he hit me up because I've known him for years. And he said, hey, I've got a night coming up. Club Bahia was new. Before that, it was at El Cid, which was a club on Hollywood Boulevard that the filmmaker D.W. Griffith started. Yeah. You know, it was like an underground club. It was like...
Is he the one that made
he's like
that
the racist
race
one.
movie?
Yeah. So he like built this club because like that movie got so much shit even back in the day, The Birth of a Nation. So he wanted like a special place to screen the movie. But anyways, it turned into like a Hollywood kind of like, you know, speakeasy bar with like a screen. And it was awesome. It was like super intimate and small. So it had been years since I played any of my work, and he goes, hey, I love your little short videos. Can you put together like your favorite 20 of them because they're so short and play them at my night? And I remember I was reluctant. I was like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Because I'm just a lazy piece of shit. I'm like, I don't want to do that. And then he like hit me up again. He goes, are you going to do it? I'm like, all right, fine. So I put them together, wasn't thinking anything of it. And then I went to the night to play it, and the first video came up and people like were screaming, laughing, and I was like, whoa! I got like a hit of dopamine, and I've never had a reaction like that ever
Sick.
for any of my work. And then it just laughter, watching all of them, and then the end of it, people were like coming up to me, saying how much they loved it, how fresh it was and new, and that was the moment. I was like, shit, what the fuck have I been doing my whole life? I should have been embracing comedy. There was a girl, she became a lawyer. She was a friend of mine in my senior year of high school, and I remember we walked home one day. And she's like, I see you doing comedy when you're older. And I was like, I'm not doing comedy. It's like low-hanging fruit. I don't want to do that. Like, I like being funny with friends, but I don't want to do that for like a career. She saw it, but I was stubborn and stupid. But,
Have you reached out to her since? You're like, hey, thank you.
No, I don't. Yeah, I haven't talked to her in years. I don't know what she's doing.
There's that story that, what's his name? Denzel Washington talks about. There's like, he went to like the salon with his mom and some like girl, like they were all like big and like with their faith and everything. And somebody comes to him. He was a kid. They're like, you're gonna speak to the world. Like they were like literally preaching over him. Like, yeah, this is gonna happen to you. Like they didn't say how it was gonna happen.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and in the moment he's like, the fuck you talking about? It's like literally look at him now. Like all these movies and shit. Fucking around the world. Like
people come up to you. I feel like there's those moments where like in life where people see something in you, or you know, they tune into something.
Happened to Mia Khalifa.
What's that?
That happened to Mia Khalifa.
Like somebody just went to her. They're like, I see something in you.
What happened?
Like she was working at like at a restaurant or like
Mia
fast
Khalifa?
food. Mia Khalifa, the porn star.
Yeah.
She's like, hey, you could be a star.
Or her, like, did she have work done like on her body?
She didn't
yet
have
at that
boobs
time?
yet. She didn't have fake boobs
That's
yet.
insane.
But yeah, same in a way.
They knew.
That is literally 100%.
Yeah. Do you still get that hit of dopamine when you present your short, or was the first time like the highest?
No, I love it. Yeah,
cool.
I love showing. I love showing work. Yeah, no, it's a blast. A friend of mine did a screening the other night, but I couldn't go. I was bummed out. I wanted to go see it. Yeah, because like you make stuff on the internet, you're like in a vacuum. So you get likes and comments and people like DM you and they say nice things, but there's nothing, it doesn't compare to like in the theater, people laughing, you know, cracking up, talking to you afterwards. Yeah, it's like a rush. It's like you feel like the man, like it's, or the woman or whatever. You know, there's nothing that compares to it. You feel, because it takes so much work. There's so much energy involved in making this shit that, you know, that's the payoff to me. That's like, you know, that's what you do it for. Yeah. You do it to like connect with other people or inspire them or make them laugh or make them forget about their day. And yeah, no, I love it. It's so much fun.
Do you think you still get that imposter syndrome? Is it imposter syndrome as hard, or like how much you question yourself? Was it as often now or before you were on social media? Because I feel it way more now that
more
like I'm
imposter?
on Instagram. Like imposter, just like what am I doing? I'm questioning myself. Like I'm not even good at this.
Yeah.
And that happens more when I'm on social media. But like when I like delete it for like a week, I'm like, oh, I'm living like a cool life. Do you think before social media you're like, oh, I'm doing pretty well?
It's like, I think there's,
or is it always there?
I think it's just there. I think it's when like, my whole thing is I don't want to disappoint people. I like, even when making work, I don't want to disappoint. I don't want to waste anyone's time. But also, if like someone believes in me and like, you know, believes in my ability, I'm like, I don't want to disappoint you. Like, I want to work hard and make sure that, you know, my work matches your belief in me. So I think it's more of like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just, my childhood was a little rough. So I think there's some weird things from there that, you know, unresolved issues and that come up. But yeah, I think it's normal. I mean, the Daniels, those directors that did Everything Everywhere All at Once,
so good.
They had a podcast where they talk. Yeah, they even feel it. Like still, like they still feel it. I think anytime you like level up and you jump to like the next thing, or you have a big opportunity, I think if you're not nervous and you're not feeling that sense of like, am I good enough? If I wasn't, I don't know.
It's like, it
you would be pushing yourself.
It's like an indicator that you care, like because you're like, oh, this means something to me, and I don't want to fuck it up. I think if you were like approaching it, like that's why, you know, I've met people in the past and they're like, they act like they're anyone that's too cool for school, like you encounter, they're the most insecure person underneath it all. Like anytime you meet anyone, like, you know, on, I don't know, the image they put out on Instagram or whatever, and they're like, oh, they don't. Like, they're the scaredest ones in the group. Like, that to me is like, oh, they're worried as fuck. Like, that you're going to find. They're the ones that have the biggest imposter syndrome. Yeah. So, I've always liked to be transparent, like, put it all out there. Yeah. And be like, you know, all the warts and everything and say what I want, you know, to an extent. You know, I don't want to be canceled in 10 years, please. Yeah. But, you know what I mean? Like, I think, there's something, I think ultimately, yeah, you want to just be yourself. I feel like.
Yeah.
I think some people get this idea. I feel like musicians fall into that trap a lot, where they feel like they have to uphold this image of coolness or whatever that is in order to keep their. I don't know. I think it's way cooler to be like, you see the real person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we're all the same essentially. Everyone wants the same thing. You
Yeah.
know, we all want to be successful and be happy in this life, and avoid paying taxes. We all want that, right?
Let's go to Austin, Texas.
You still have to pay income tax.
It's not as bad though, right?
Well,
I think
not
that's
state, yeah, just
Yeah.
federal.
why so many comedians move there.
Yeah, I mean, California is they banned the gas car sales in 2035.
Oh yeah, I heard about
Yeah,
that.
Gavin Newsom talked about that, and no one did you vote on that? I didn't vote on that.
Yeah.
Like, who voted on that shit?
We're all getting
Gavin
Tennessee's.
Newsom's up
Is
there.
it all gas or is it like they have to be hybrid?
All gas. I don't know about hybrids, but I'm like, there's reports coming out saying like the grid will never be able to
Yeah.
handle. Also, like, where do you think the power comes from when you're fueling up your electric car? You're still on fossil fuels.
Yeah.
I heard like the battery
Lithium is
being made for it.
Yeah,
is
it's
like pretty equivalent to
it's
how much
totally
carbon
toxic to the environment. And if an electric car catches on fire, apparently, like, to put out that fire, they need 3 times the amount of water.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
it burns so crazy. Like, if a Tesla catches on fire, it won't go out. Like,
Whoa.
it's crazy.
That's insane.
Also, like, I don't know if I totally trust, like, driving on top of a battery, like a giant battery. It's
Well,
kind of...
I heard that at least they won't topple over as easily because like the more
the
bottom
center of
heavy.
gravity?
Yeah.
But just like you're on a lithium battery.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
I
EMF
get scared
radiation.
just holding these V mounts and
Yeah.
dropping them. I'm like,
Yeah.
duck for cover.
Dude, you always see like those like surveillance video of like someone that has like a portable vape, and like it's like in the guy. I saw a video and like it exploded in his pocket, and like
Yeah.
he's like trying to get his pants off while this thing is like it's freaky, man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
This is kind of off topic, but not really. In relationships, in your early, like post college, did you stall getting a relationship with someone because you're scared it would like stunt you? Because I see it so often. Like my friend would get a girlfriend, and like now he doesn't care about his craft anymore.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
he's like he forgot about the grind. Because I feel like I see it so often where someone's like dating someone for 6 years, and after that 6 years, they're still the same exact person as they were
Right,
when they
they
started the
don't grow.
relationship. Did you ever like stall dating a girl, or were you always like open to it?
I was always open to it. I didn't really date that much in college at all. But after I graduated, yeah, I was kind of like a serial monogamous. I was in like long-term relationships,
Oh,
and then
wow.
I would like jump and then go into another one.
Oh damn.
And then, yeah, I was single for like a solid 3 years of my life, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, that was the last. Like that was
yeah,
the longest time you were
yeah,
single.
I was in
Whoa.
like one thing for a
Insane, man.
while. It didn't really. Yeah, I think everyone's different. I mean, I've always been really driven in terms of what I want, and I think it's like, I think what you want to do is find someone that believes in you, that has similar goals. Because
Yeah.
the film business is it's tough. I mean, you got to put in the time, and you need that alone time to work on your stuff. So you need to be with someone that understands that can give you space. Like if you're with someone that's overly needy, that needs that might not be the right relationship for you. If you want to go into filmmaking or comedy or anything like that, because you need to. But then you also, like, I see people that get into relationships with similar careers, and then there's kind of like a weird competition.
Yeah, I
I've
wouldn't
seen
date
that a
another
lot.
comedian.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
No. Richard Lewis, the comedian, told Chris Candy, only one headshot per household.
Oh,
And what he means
wow.
by that is like there should only be one person that has a headshot, because if 2 people have the headshots, you're going to be like kind of competing and comparing
Yeah.
yourself. And
Crazy.
I don't know if that's true. I think
Yeah.
to each his own, but yeah, I think it just depends on the person and what they want out of life. There's definitely like some guys and girls that like get in a relationship and then they like throw away their career aspirations because like they love sex or whatever the hell. They love that validation.
So sick.
Yeah, they love like they
That's
think
gonna
that's
be-
all that matters, and like
Yeah.
the truth is like life is long and people change, and don't
Yeah.
ever give up on your dream. But I also believe like even if you are with someone and your shit stalls out for 6 years and then you break up, so what? Then you get back into it. There's no like set path that you need to be here at this particular time. I mean, the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken, I think he didn't like start that restaurant until like he was like 54 or something
Whoa.
like that. Or some, he was later in life. Like Denzel started later as well. Like I think it all adds to, where you're going. Yeah. Sometimes I look back on that and I'm like, why didn't I guess I could have like focused more on being a director when I was younger, but then I don't regret that because I learned so much, like having a post-production background and then a production background in cinematography taught me so much about like how to direct, like watching other people work and like being efficient and knowing what I want and being focused, so I don't think there's any, direct, the saddest thing is when people get like involved in drugs.
Yeah.
And that's, and I guess, sex is a drug to some, but I think when people like get addicted to pills or meth or heroin or stuff like that, that's sad because I feel like that kind of, that's just, you're totally wasting your potential. It erodes your brain. And, I mean, I know people that have taken, too much ketamine and like they're never the same, what I mean? Like, or whatever that is. I knew a guy in middle school who took too much acid and he's got perpetual vision issues, like
he still sees shit.
Yeah, HPPDs. He's like permanent tracers, and like so that's sad to me. I think you gotta, I think with drug use, do your research and don't overdo it, and protect your brain because you only get one. You could burn out. There's a lot of people that will do like every week.
That's crazy.
And it's like you're gonna be like an old man by the time you're in your 30s, like really, So, but I think with relationships, I don't blame the relationship for making you stalling you out. Yeah. But I think some people are super focused and driven, and they're like they push things away because they don't want that to change. I think it depends on your partner. I think it depends on who you're bringing into your energy. And
have you ever had somebody that like wasn't like kind of like on board with what you were trying to do?
No, I would have dropped him quick. Like if anyone, I did have an ex that she was very jealous, and I was going to the Troubadour to work with a director. We were both going to shoot an event, and she was jealous of this girl. And she like stood in front of the door and said, "You're not going on this job." And I said, "Get the fuck out of my face! I'm going on this job." I'm like, I'm like a professional. I'm not going to cancel the job because you're insecure about it. Work on yourself. Yeah. But that didn't last. But I mean, no, I've never had anyone tell me like it's me or your work, because I try to find a balance too. I think if you're too insane and focused, also, like, I mean, Steve Jobs on his deathbed when he was dying of cancer said his biggest regret was working too much. He wasn't there for his family, and that's like Jobs saying that. So I think there is a balance of like being there for the people you love and enjoying your life, and then focusing on work. Work is not life, it's just part of your life. So
we have this segment called Coming Clean with cum cleaners, clean cummers.
Okay, nice.
And they just DM messages like secrets they just want to come clean about, and we just read them out loud.
Do I jerk off now, or was it?
You're supposed to be doing it right.
Let me get you some paper towels.
I don't need.
I got a sock. Yeah.
Oh, cool. You don't want any lotion or anything?
No, just go hard.
I can
hard and dry.
You want this bowl of spit for you in the fridge?
Oh, this is awesome.
I don't know if this one's legit though. Okay, we'll do this one. So I hooked up with so many people my first month of college. My roommate moved out, not because I was hogging the room, but because it was unethical.
I actually know two people like that from Emerson, where they're like, I had to move out, and I'm like, why? And they're like, my roommate just keeps fucking. There's like
different people,
just all different people. I think like my one friend, he was like a freshman. I think he hooked up with like 10 girls his first like week or two. I don't know if he has chlamydia. Yeah, like, week or two. Yeah, people go dog mode, bro. Dude. And I was like, fuck, I wish I came in as a freshman.
Damn.
Because everyone was just ready to fuck. You guys ever have a story? Did you guys know anyone that?
Wait, so how does this segment work?
It's pretty much we just tell.
We just talk about
commenting on it.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like I've had friends that like fucked, but like that's like at the end of the day, it's like it doesn't really like affect you. You know what I mean?
Like at the point, you're just like nutting dust.
Yeah. But so I think like I'd probably be envious a little bit, but like I don't think I would have moved out.
Yeah.
No, but like he said, like while he'd like wake up and he'd just hear oatmeal noise.
Oatmeal noise.
Yeah, just like you ever mixed oatmeal?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't oatmeal.
It was a penis.
Yeah, it was a penis in a vagina.
You know, it's free content, man. You just fucking sit in the next room and jerk off.
Ear to the wall.
Yeah. Best college ever.
I think whenever I heard anyone fucking, I'm always like, whoa, what's fucking going on? Like, there's like a heightened... I've never been like, gross.
Yeah.
I've never been like, I'm always like, nice. Like, every time.
Get binoculars.
If someone was fucking on the beach, which I've seen in Barcelona, I just watched. Me and my friends were like watching, like, look at that. And then the girl woke up the next day and the guy was gone and he stole her purse.
Wait, how'd you know?
What do you mean?
Like you were waiting, watching that whole thing?
him.
Or
No, so like they were like 50 feet away. We had nowhere to stay because all the hostels were booked. All the hotels were booked. So we had to sleep on the beach. It was me and my two buddies. We were backpacking through Europe.
Well,
And this girl and this local, she was American and she was with, I think, a local Spaniard. And they were fucking boning on the beach. And like we were watching them fuck. We weren't like staring the whole
How
time.
far were you?
Like 50 or 100 feet away.
Okay.
They're definitely over there. We could see like thrusting and it was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then they like, we watched them like, you know, cuddle and they go to sleep. And then the next morning we woke up to her going, what the fuck? And we looked over and she was by herself and her purse was gone. Like,
damn.
so he fucked her.
He
and then
didn't
stole
quit,
her
dude.
money.
Damn.
It's just crazy.
He didn't, that's a crazy. He was a
Savage.
sociopath.
Crazy fucking thing to do. But, you know.
That dude's in jail now, dude. That's a
Yeah.
crazy thing to do.
I had a roommate, in college, and like he wouldn't give a shit. Like one time, we had a part. We would always throw these great parties, and we were watching like something on HBO. The party was winding down, and he was with a girl, and they were sitting like across, you know, from me, 10 feet away. And I remember I looked over at him, and like I saw his dick was out, and she was jerking him off. And I was like, what the fuck? I looked at him. He goes, told me to be quiet.
Have you ever like done anything like around somebody?
No, I've never
like had sex in front of people. And
Oh
shit?
yeah, I've never done anything like. I've never done anything like that. Sam Tripoli, the comedian, you know, the comic.
I know that name.
Yeah, he's got a podcast called Tinfoil Hat, and they have a Patreon. And if you donate $1,000, he and his co-host will watch you fuck on Zoom, and they'll give notes. He's always like, "I'm ready to watch." I'm like, "Who's fucking someone out there is gonna pay for that?"
We're gonna get down. We're gonna get down that shit, dude.
Yeah.
We're gonna get there.
No, I've never done no exhibitionist stuff. I've had moments in like not in public, but like, you know, close to where you could get caught outside and stuff like that.
Good love.
I remember my friend in college. He was on the no fap wave
Oh yeah.
for like the whole time we were like living together. He fucked so much,
After?
like while no fap. And
Because
like,
he wasn't fapping.
because he wasn't fapping, and then he like every like 2 or 3 weeks it'd be a different girl, and he like even fucked like the security guard of our like college dorm.
shit.
Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
He's really got it like that.
He got it
bro.
like that.
That's insane.
Maybe I'll go back on no fap.
I've always like. There's been like watching guys around me like go like do that, like you get one girl then another girl. I mean, to me it's like I have to be like it's hard just to do a hookup like one night. I gotta be like I gotta like the person and then I end up getting in a relationship with them. You know what I mean? Like there's always
you
like
got me.
there's like I've always been like I know guys that they can they're like dating like 5 girls at the same time.
Yeah,
It's like
that's
a different girl every day, and I'm like, how the fuck do you manage that? Like, that seems like so much work.
There's just such a disconnect, like emotionally and shit.
Yeah.
It's like they don't even give a fuck.
Yeah, it's just like
Insane.
a piece of meat or
Literally,
something.
I've had like one night stand,
yeah.
and then after I was like, I feel empty. This doesn't feel right. I feel
Yeah,
gross.
it always feels a little strange, and then you're peeing and it's burning, and you're like,
and then like 9 months later, a baby's at your door.
Yeah, there's a baby. Shit.
Yeah.
That's why I would always get freaked out about that, because like anyone that you're with, I'm like, they could keep it. You know what I mean? And like
Poke
that's
holes.
gonna be
You
so
gotta leave the country.
shit.
Only
No, I would
option.
I would fucking do what I had to do. You know, call my buddy Tito, and he'll take care of it.
Walking down the street.
No comment. That's Aldus is short.
I actually finished the sketch. I'm gonna tell you about it. I finished the sketch about that. I need you to help me.
Did you finish it?
I finished writing it.
Nice.
Yeah, I finished writing it like 2 days ago, and I did the fake storyboard about
nice,
it's an
nice.
abortion sketch.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're figuring
Yeah.
out. It was also co-written by my friend Haley, so like I also have like
Oh, you got
a
the
woman's
female
co-sign.
perspective?
Because we thought about it together, and
Yeah,
so
you need to have that. Yeah.
so but like we also I feel like we both don't have the best gauge, so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna hit you up about
All
it.
right, cool. Hit me up.
Yeah.
That is insane.
All right.
Let's
Is
do
it
The
that.
last part.
Is it time?
It's time.
It's time. All right.
Oh shit, what's gonna happen now?
Yo, just breathe. Just breathe.
Are we smoking
I'm
DMT?
nervous.
About to jack Rick off.
Oh shit. Too late.
Should
What
do this
the
at night.
Just breathe. Just breathe.
You like this?
Yeah, I do actually.
Wait, I forgot how we do this segment. We've only done it once.
So pretty much we asked the audience to come clean about something, and now it is your opportunity to come clean about
Oh
something.
shit, I should have prepared. Oh fuck, I should have went blank. What kind of, like, give me an example.
You
like,
could literally
just
just do a self plug or something like, "Oh, I have a grudge from like this
Yeah.
long time ago," or like, "Oh, like I want 12 kids." It could just be anything.
I don't want 12 kids. I have to come clean about something. Fuck. Oh, my mind's going to like the dumbest shit. For Obama's second term, I voted for Roseanne Barr. I penciled it in. That's not good. That's not good. That's
Keep
not a
going.
good
Keep
one.
going. Shoot him off. Shoot him
I'm
off.
so afraid because this stays forever. in the
We're
fucking
gonna send this to you
metaverse.
before, and you could clip it.
Yeah. Come clean. I gotta come clean. Hold on. Shit. Fuck. Everything I'm thinking I can't say. Okay, hold on. Fucking hell. Hold on. You guys come clean first.
Oh, hey, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, you guys come clean right now. Come clean.
Jacked off 48 hours ago. There you go.
You did?
Jack off once a week. That's where I'm at right now.
Crazy.
Nice.
I'm a once a week type of dude. I think I started getting good at stand up when I just went like no porn
Yeah.
and like jacking off like
What do you
as
jack
minimal as I
off
could.
to?
It would still I'm still on no porn. Imagination.
Really?
Yep.
fucking
I'm on the
bold as
imagination
fuck.
wave. Yep.
Shit.
Fuck
I'd be
that,
like
dude.
every experience I've had with a girl, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna
That's
go to my
insane.
backlog with the one time I had
The
sex.
archive.
What about you?
I occasionally. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm turning the table. I'm turning the table.
I occasionally like to jack off to granny porn.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of grand?
Ew!
What do you mean? They need love too,
Bro,
bro.
it was like a young guy with a grandma.
Yeah, you know, like,
Yeah.
like mature woman, but like
How old?
very mature. Not like,
Like
so
Walker?
old to the point you're like, oh, like, but like, you know, like they still gotta have like a little bit of like to them, you know.
What's your favorite granny porn star?
I don't
Oh, you don't
remember
know
that.
names.
I don't remember like porn names like
No.
since fucking middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. I can't say any of them that I'm thinking 'cause they will get me in trouble.
With people or like with cancellation?
I just don't want it on the record.
What if you kind of change some details around?
Give me a second. My mind's going blank. I'm never good if you put me on the
I know.
spot.
I'm
I'm
trying-
like,
I'm trying
I
to think
immediately
about it.
like, it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck. I fucked a girl in the cemetery one time.
Whoa! She alive?
You dirty dog.
That's my mentor.
It was
What's
on a
the
bike ride.
story to that? What the fuck? Like,
I was recently single and she was into me and like we stopped. We were on a bike ride, you know, doing that Midnight Riders, and they stopped by a cemetery, like as one of the stops, and she started making out and we were touching each other and we like lied down next to a grave and she was into some weird shit.
was it beautiful?
It was like a fun memory, like
Yeah.
looking back, and then yeah.
Do you think any ghosts like haunted you after that?
No ghosts. We went back to my place and we had fun, and I was drunk too. And I remember that night, what happened? Oh, like a week later, I got drunk again and I sent her a text, and I got a thing I can come clean about. I just thought of it. Okay, I'll come clean. You want to hear the story?
Yeah. I
It's a
want to
good
hear
one.
both. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So this was a period of time where, I was single, and I got invited to a Need for Speed video game release party. It was in Hollywood.
Whoa.
So it was an open bar. I went there on invitation. It was packed. It was at a giant club. I forget where it was. And they had kiosks around the club, like multiple ones that had the game where you can come and play it. And it was a PlayStation game. I had a PlayStation at the time. And I noticed that nothing was locked up, right? And I don't steal shit, but I was drunk and I was feeling fucking frisky. And I kept getting rum and coke, so I was feeling myself. And I went up to one of the kiosks, and no one was there. And I looked around, and I unplugged one of the controllers, and I put it in my pocket. And I was like, I got a fucking $50 controller. So then I went to another kiosk, and I was like waiting for the guy to be done. He finishes it, and I go up to that kiosk, and I take the second controller, and I put that in my pocket. Then I go to a third kiosk. I get greedy. I should have just fucking left, and I get a third kiosk. Unplug that controller, put it in my pocket. Forget about it. Decide to go have a smoke out front. My friends have left at this point, so I go out front. I had a big job the next day. It was like $8,000 was on the line. It was big, right? So I was providing camera gear. I was going to operate this whole thing. So I'm being totally irresponsible by getting drunk that night. So I go outside, I'm having a smoke, and this giant fucking bouncer notices a controller popping out of my pocket. And he goes, "Yo, what the fuck is that?" And I go, "Oh, this? I'm a huge fan of PlayStation. I carry around a controller with me everywhere I go." And he comes up to me and he takes the controller and then he finds the other two controllers. So then he calls over his buddies. And before I know it, there's 8 bouncers and they're circling around me. They take my ID and they're like, "Give me your ID. You're fucking fucked. We're calling the cops. You're going to jail." I'm freaked out because I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to be charged. And I got this big job. So he takes my ID, and I'm like, fuck it, I can get a new ID. And immediately, I just run. I break away from them because there was an opening, and I run back into the building. Like, that was my plan. I'm going to run through the building and go out the other exit door and be gone. Except the door that I went into wasn't the club. It was, like, the janitor closet. So I run in there. Dude, I run in, and I'm like, fuck. I'm fucking trapped. And then, like, 20 seconds later, this giant bouncer came in and he was laughing. And he's like, "We got you, you little rat." And he puts me in a headlock and he slams me up against the wall. And he was like, "You like that?" And I said, "Yeah, give it to me harder, daddy." And dude, because I was like, fuck it. I'm fucked. I'm going to jail. I ran. Dude, he slammed me so hard into the wall that he broke a rib.
Oh my god!
And I knew something was wrong, and it was so much pain. And then he has me in a headlock, and he's a giant guy, and he drags me out of the janitor closet in front of like the crew of his other guys, and they're looking at me, shaking their head. And then he brings me back into the club. There's still people there, and they're watching me, and he drags me into the club. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm gonna go to a small office. The cops are gonna come, but then I don't know what the fuck happened. He like marched me around. And then he brought me back outside. They threw me out, like, in the front of the street. I fell down. They took my ID, and they threw it at me. And they go, "Get the fuck out of here and never come back." And then I hobbled my way home. And I thought about it, and I was like, I bet you I would have gotten arrested if I didn't run. If I just stayed there and complied, I probably would have went to jail. For stealing, and I deserved it. I shouldn't be fucking stealing controllers, although it was fun. But I think because he broke my rib, you're not supposed to break something. I could sue them. Yeah. That he was like, "Just fucking get him out of here. We broke his fucking rib. Yeah. We hurt him. Let him go." And then so I didn't have insurance at the time. I was young and stupid, and I just
go to the shoot the next day.
I did go to the shoot. I was fine. I was like, I made up some story. It did heal. It healed really slowly, and apparently, like, if you go to the doctor and you break a rib, they can't do shit for it. You just have to let it heal.
Oh my gosh.
And it took like 6 weeks. It healed, and this girl, a friend of mine, she like jumped on top of me 6 weeks out and re-broke it. I was so pissed. Anyway, she's dead. I killed her. And that's what I want to come clean about. No one ever found the body, and all's well, guys.
She's the cemetery girl.
I knew something was going to come that I could talk about, but...
All right.
Sick.
That was beautiful.
Before we end real quick,
yeah,
I just want to say you're like the perfect like love child of Zach Galifianakis and Bradley Cooper.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Like, it's kind of insane.
Someone I was just in Greece, and we were at this nice hotel, and the owner of the hotel, as we were leaving, she's Australian Greek, and she's like, "You look like Zach Galifianakis, mate." That's my horrible Australian accent.
Fire.
And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Can I take a picture of you and say that you're him?" And I was like, "Sure." So we like staged this photo where I wore a hat and I'm like putting my hand up. And she like put it. It's somewhere. I gotta see it. But she's like, "I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna send that out and say he was here." I'm like, "All right."
It's so funny.
I had this one time. I used to live across the street from a small studio, Prospect Studios, and there's a lime green convertible, and a guy and a girl from South Africa. They were visiting, and they were like taking photos of the studio, and I came out. They're like, "You are Zach Galifianakis, man," and I went, "I'm not him." They're like, "You are him. You are him." I said, "I'm not him." "Yes, you are. You are him." And I went, "Fine, I'm him. Let's take a." And they took a photo. They were like insistent that I was him, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm him, dude. Whatever you want."
I had so much free stuff, dude. So much clout.
Yeah.
Just accepted it.
I love Zach. He's great.
That's sick.
Thank you, guys.
But
Yeah.
cool.
Do you have
awesome.
anything to plug? I guess like your podcast.
I just plug my my website's rickdarge darge.com. That's my Instagram, and then I've got a podcast called Bumper to Bumper. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. It's me and my buddy Chris Candy. We just talk shit. Aldus is on as well. We're coming back Friday.
Yep.
Friday we're going in. We took the month of August off, but now we're back. We don't really have an agenda. We just kind of every week. I
soundboard.
wonder if it's gonna be our last episode. That's kind of the.
I like the walk around episodes are always
Yeah,
fun.
those
Yeah,
are fun.
my
You were
friend
on one of them too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Chappelle. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that was
It
fun.
got a little spicy.
And we saw what's his name, Segol.
Oh, Jason
Oh yeah,
Segel.
Jason
Segel?
Segel. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
fun.
sick.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
So sick.
Good time.
I
Thanks,
think-
guys. That was
yeah.
fun.
Cool.
Awesome.
Fuck yeah,
Thank you for coming.
that was awesome.
Yo, he's getting on his knees.
Yo, what the fuck?
To wrap. Yep.
Touch on my love, on my rap, on my wet. Love on my wet. Yeah. Touch on my rap, on my love, on my rap, on my. Why do you want my dick? All up inside your lips. Wanna just grab this